For years, we've been warned that AI is evil, it's demonic. Elon Musk has been warning us about AI for years. He said we're going to have an AI overlord repeatedly. And he's the guy that wants to give us Neuralink, which is carving away a piece of our skull and putting a chip in our brains so that we have access to the internet or whatever. And we know that there's the RFID pin, little pin they want to stick in you. And I've been saying, I don't know, maybe since 2024, you have to go look on my old videos on my Rumble page because those videos aren't on my YouTube channel anymore. But if you look at videos I have with Elon Musk as the thumbnail, I think I have several that say, oops, AI did it. And they just want to use AI as a scapegoat, whatever it is that they want to do. They'll just blame AI and roll over us. And now I can add to that the piece of the World Economic Forum where Klaus Schwab comes out and he says, you will live in the pod, you will eat the bugs, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. Now that's a pretty bold claim to make. That's like casting a spell over the populace. Like, hey, guess what? The World Economic Forum just told us this is what we're going to do, whether you like it or not. And as of recent, Elon Musk has a car that you can't buy. You can only lease it for $99 a month, which means you don't own the car. You're borrowing it. There was a Nintendo Switch where people said, wait a minute, like we buy the console, but like you can shut it down and so do we own it or not? And there was some gray area there. You also have, forgive me for not remembering the Twitch 2 story, but there's something like that, right? People were complaining like, wait a minute, this is on some kind of boundary between do we own this or not? And then there's Jeff Bezos saying you don't need to own a gaming console. And before that, some guy that was one of the heads of the gaming companies said, oh, you guys don't need to, I was Xbox or something, I can't remember. And he said, come on, the future of gaming is you don't need to own a console, it's all online. And now the RAM prices have gone up and they blame AI. And there are people who live where there's AI centers, or whatever you call those, like AI hubs or whatever. And the people in those areas are complaining about how sometimes they don't have water because AI is using it. Look, we have huge, vast oceans. Is there more ocean in the world than there is land? I think so. So how could we ever run out of water? This is just part of blaming AI for shit, I believe. And more to come with this kind of thing. Like when they make RAM prices go up and they blame AI, it's just like, well, we don't want you to be able to, we want to hold all the data, so you guys can't afford RAM anymore for your gaming and for all the other uses. It's just another way of taking everything away from us. And you know, granted this hasn't happened yet, but I feel like they've been setting us up for years with the bird flu thing so that you can't have eggs, so you can't have the protein that comes from an egg, or eat a chicken for that matter. Because a lot of people took to this like, you know what, I think I want to have chickens. Like even in cities there's places where the building has made an allotment, whatever you call it, not an allotment, but they've made concessions where it's like, okay, you know, you guys can have eggs out in the yard of the apartment complex and stuff like that. Because I've seen these, like this is years ago, like maybe 2011 or 12 or whatever, I saw news stories where they're like, hey, here's this New York apartment building and they have hens in their shared yard. And probably there's some, you know, degree of that kind of like farming on rooftops and stuff. But in the future you own nothing and love it, well then you can't have chickens. You can't have protein. If they want us to eat bugs as part of our humiliation, you know, and to make us sick somehow because they found out that if we eat bugs that we won't think properly is probably part of it, you know, because like if you just eat, you know, vegetarian style and never have any kind of meat or whatever, you never eat the flesh of beasts, it probably does something to your brain when you can't think right. Because I was a raw food vegan for probably about a decade, and you have to supplement. And all the people that are like at the top of the forefront of eating the raw food vegan diet, they're like, we just can't get enough nutrition from foods because the way they grew foods is like mining the soil, so it's the mineral deficient, and so you always have to supplement. And then you'll see these old timers in the raw foods movement, and they don't really look healthy. All look like skeletons, because if you don't eat meat you get real skinny. And if you're eating raw foods, then even more so. I mean, it's one thing to take the lifestyle choice of an aesthetic and say, I'm going to be vegetarian for God, because there are people who do this. But it's another thing to do it for your own, ego, pride, and vanity, and say, I just want to live longer, so I'm going to, be vegetarian. And a lot of vegetarian food is junk food. You can get fat being a vegetarian, but it's different with if it's like the raw food vegan thing, because you're not consuming any kind of animal products, and everything has to be that you eat has to be like raw foods, like no cooking anything. And the people that are telling you to do this don't look healthy, and the people that are telling you to do this that do look healthy have been exposed repeatedly as liars. Like we saw you eating a hamburger at the airport food court or whatever. And so it's just not within our best interest to eat bugs. And also what I've heard about the eating bugs thing is that people with a shellfish allergy are not going to do well on eating bugs. So then they'll be like, okay, well then you're not going to even have bug protein. And it's much different, like John the Baptist eating locusts and honey. The world was a different place back then. I mean, you can watch as many videos as you can find, and you'll probably decide to stop watching videos because you'll find so many of examples of how they poison the food supply. They fly over the sky and they poison us from above. They polluted the aquifers. You're hard pressed to find any processed foods that don't have some kind of corn, wheat, or soy, which are subsidized by the government in it. A lot of your vitamins and pills that people take because they want nutrition that they're not getting from their food, it just turns out that they like move a molecule or 2 or 3 or 7, and that vitamin, whatever vitamin it is you want, is really coming from like corn, and it's all the refuse of corn. It's not even from actual corn. It's like, this is made from corn husks or whatever. So there was a book written, and I forget the exact title, but it was something like 90% of your supplements are completely useless. And then there's a whole book explaining on why all your stuff from the Vitamin Shop or GNC is not nutrition, and it's not helping you. If anything, people are getting by on placebo effect. And all this feeds into you will live in the pod, you'll eat the bugs and know nothing. If you want to control the populace, make them eat like cattle, because you can herd cattle around because they just chew cud all day long. So if you just tell people they have to be vegetarians, you can control them. And one of the things, I forget where it is, it's in the New Testament, where they're asking, I think it's St. Paul, well, how will we know when the end is near? And he says, when people are no longer allowed to eat meat or marry. So you could, if you remember, when we went under lockdowns, there was all this, oh no, the price of meat went up like right away. And then right there in your supermarket, you never noticed before, but was this whole big section of the better burgers, and I can't remember I'm not remembering anything today. There was all these like fake meats you could buy, and they weren't cheap. And they were like, here's your alternatives. It tastes like meat, it looks like meat. They even deceptively made the packaging look like, it looks like it's meat in here, but it's not meat. There was a scientist in Japan who said, we can basically turn sewer sludge into proteins, so you can eat your feces and we'll recycle that and you can eat it. And that was years ago. I mean, like, when did the Japanese scientist come up with eating sewer sludge? Was that like in 2010 or something? So yes, they're heading us towards a future that neither you or I would want. And you can see how already they're blaming AI for a lot of things. And then I talked about all the food stuff, which is separate from AI. But they talk about how AI is using resources and how much water it uses just to prompt some kind of silly Studio Ghibli style picture of yourself and your friends. And all the, people are falling in love with ChatGPT, and then they get their heart's broken when it's reset they've made an AI lover, and then it gets reset and they got to start over again, and a whole mass full of people say, hey, you just killed our lovers. Can you see how this is getting, by like working on people, it's getting them to be down on love? Or like, look, I couldn't fall in love with a real person, you keep erasing my AI lover, I give up on love. And then, try and get people traumatized enough to be like, you know what, you guys just can't get married. It's not fair. Other people can't get married. Why should you get married? Or whatever reasons they give for this. But I do believe that they're using AI as a scapegoat. Because I didn't touch on this, I wanted to. When I first heard that AI was using lots of water, I said, who cares? The oceans are full of water. Like, how are we gonna, are we really using AI that much that we're gonna run out of the water in the ocean? Could it really be that damaging? Like, if it's gonna ruin our lives, dial it back. Instead, what are they doing? They're putting AI centers in different towns, townships or whatever, municipalities. And then the people are complaining because of water, because it's ruining water for the people who live there. They can't get water. It shuts the water down because the AI center is using all the water, and all the other complaints that are going to come. So what about the ocean? No, we got to come to where you live and the water's no good there, so you can't control it. And all the other stuff they're doing. Like, I don't know what the number is because I haven't checked on it for a year, but a year ago they had destroyed like 263 food production facilities, food processing plants, and that's how we eat processed food. I mean, it's good to want to eat local and buy local and all that stuff, but a lot of people get their food from food processing plants, and that's a lot. Oh, guess what? Like, all in the same year, 200, and this probably started during lockdowns too, like right away. Well, the last I checked, I think maybe it was like 2024 actually. By 2024, there was like 260 some, like, that's what I remember. Food processing plants that had been destroyed. That's a lot. That's not an accident. They're being destroyed on purpose. Whatever reasons they want to give for it, it all feeds into their, you will live in the pods, you will eat bugs, and you will own nothing. And what do we know from corporate websites that I saw in the early 2000s when my buddy showed me? Walmart says they want to be the only place to buy foods. Monsanto says they want to be the only people to grow food. And they mean worldwide. And pharmaceutical companies want to make sure that they're always stay in business by making sure that we get all the latest medicines. Here, you need another medicine. And then they do that to us. And then you find out that Bill Gates, who says he is a computer guy, is really more of a eugenics legacy through his father. Look at what Bill Gates' dad wanted to do to everybody, and then you see what it was that Bill Gates was made Man of the Year when they came out with the medicine for everybody from, right? I remember seeing the magazine cover and he looked awful. You could see microbes crawling around on his face, and it was Life or Time magazine Man of the Year, and it's Bill Gates. And you're like, is he really a computer guy, or is he really medicine eugenics guy? I don't know how specific I can get with I get censored for 20 people that watch my videos. I get censored. Still, it baffles me with the censorship on my channel. Now I'm being reduced on my channel again. I can only have like 7 thumbnails a day, and then they're like, we actually have to verify your account, and we'll watch you make videos, and then over the next 3 months we'll decide whether or not you can have unlimited thumbnails. And then I get through that 3-month period, I get unlimited thumbnails for a while, and then they dial it back again. They keep doing this. They've been doing this to me since 2024, if not 2023, where they're like, if you want to use these special features, you got to do what we say, or one-time verify scanning your face, which I'm not going to do. I'll not have a YouTube account anymore before I'll scan my face. So here we go, one of my videos is again degraded into my YouTube censorship. I know a lot of people have the same problems, but it's a pain in the ass. And that's really all that YouTube wants, isn't it? Just to make it like, why do you keep making videos? We're just gonna keep, like, is it even a human that's messing with my channel? They're like, no, dial it back again. Now you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops again. You just scan your face. I don't need to scan my face. Every single video is this. My head and my hands. Come on, this is bullshit. Or all shit. BAALSH it. So, yeah, I think that they're using AI for an excuse. I know it does all the things, like, they can use AI to make all the shit that people are making with it, changing Stranger Things to have I saw a video with Stranger Things, and the guy came out of the closet, and then they all just, admonished him. Oh, dude, what are you talking about, man? Funny. What a waste. The things that always come to mind, the same couple ones, like perfecting Will Smith eating spaghetti. At first it looks really weird, then like a year and a half later it looks just like Will Smith eating spaghetti. All the Michael Jackson meme videos where he's like stealing chicken and, fill in the blank. There's so many of these things. People using it to make their customized pornography. Again, I remember last year there was a YouTuber I never heard of before, and now I'm hearing about him because everybody's making videos out of the meme that he's become, where he apologized because his wife caught him making AI-generated masturbatory material using other YouTubers, and nobody would know about it. His wife knew about it, so his wife humiliated him into making a public confession saying that he used AI pornography, and he wanted to apologize to his wife. So you had to hear about it, which is disgusting. What a horrible wife. That's supposed to be your shame. Why make it public and global? And then, I don't think it was good for his channel, probably, whatever kind of content he made. But the whole point is it was AI. So he's, whatever. He made AI pictures of him with like 2 YouTubers. That's funny. But it's not funny if your wife's like, no, you have to apologize. Go make a video. And they're like, but nobody knows. Like, And she's like, go make the video. They're probably divorced now or whatever. So yeah, AI causing all the problems. Also, AI, we're gonna flood the internet with AI. So now you need a real ID because we have to prove that you're a real person. They're doing this already. When sometimes I want to watch videos on YouTube and I can't because it says, for whatever video I want to watch, it says you have to sign in and verify that you're human, and then we'll let you watch videos. That sucks. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'll just have to try and watch YouTube later, and then I come back and I can just watch YouTube videos, except for ones that are age restricted. But there really isn't, age restricted YouTube videos I'm trying to watch. I really need to see 4K sheer house cleaning videos, or have a transparent house cleaning 4K, 4 Ultra K transparent house cleaning. You know about this? Yeah, it's girls wearing see-through teddies and they're washing the floor in the kitchen. You can see camel toe. And that they shave down there. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to verify my age to see that. I can just go to any pornography. I can just go to image search and safe search off, and I can see GIFs of sex acts. If I wanted to do that, it's free. Like, I don't need to sign in. Nobody needs to know who I am to see, nasty shit going down with fluid exchange and all that stuff. Projectile fluid onto the woman or whatever. It's free. You can just watch it for free. You can even see the fake AI versions of it. When I'm doing like moderate searches or whatever, it'll say Rule 34, and I had to go look up what that meant. And they'll just show up, like you're not asking for it, and it's just part of the search results. I'm like, wow, that's graphic, and it just says, here's a Rule 34, whatever. And then there's your favorite celebrity or cartoon characters, a lot of cartoon characters for shit. So blaming AI, letting things get a lot out of hand, and then saying you want us to change it. Is it not dialectics where it's like, or Hegelian dialectics, whatever, where they make a problem and then people complain about it and like, you have to do something about Project Elsagate, even though they never did. It's still happening. And then they're like, well, here's what we have to do. You guys need to get ID. Do you make a channel aimed at kids? A lot of people make money at that because kids are watching videos. So now on YouTube, remember that when it happened years ago? It was like, I don't know, 2017, 18 or something, when there was the YouTube adpocalypse, and they said, look, if you make content aimed at children, you can't monetize it anymore, except for our guys that do that, and there's a couple YouTube, then you can get away with it. And when I make videos, one of the things that always shows up is this video intended for children? So I just have it as a preset now that I don't have to address it every time, but none of my videos are made for children. And probably there's censorship that comes along with the videos not being made available to just anyone, and I don't know how you get away with it because my videos aren't made for children. And yeah, I mean, all this stuff, it's all, I've touched on a bunch of things. I'm sure there's 7 I'm forgetting, but there's all these different ways where they're like, because of AI, because of all these AI bots and, you know, AI videos, we want to verify that you're human, and yet they're not going to stop the flood of AI videos, and none of that shit's going to go away, and it won't be taken down. It's just, we need to know everything about you. We even need to measure your shits, because that's one of the other things they have is they have a stool meter that you clip onto your toilet, and again, you don't own it, you rent it, and you have to pay for the service that, you know, before you flush, you let the laser look at your shits, and then it tells you stuff about your health. And where that's headed in the future is, how did you get meat? Your birthday isn't, this is not your birthday today. How could there be protein from animals in your stools? That's against the law. You can only have meat one time a year, and that's on your birthday, as predicted by every third sci-fi novel ever written by those bozos who were on the Insiders Club that said in the future the only time you have meat is on your birthday, like in the Plandopolis Megacities video where V tells you, what, you want to eat meat? It's not your birthday. You can only have meat once a year on your birthday. F you. Not you watching, the people who are setting up these evil things for us. I'm just trying to get better with my language, even though I dropped shit bombs a whole bunch in this video. I'll get better at it. And well, it's the same thing I said. I didn't really, it was kind of more of a hunch or an intuitive thing where I'm like, they're just gonna blame AI for everything. Whatever they want to do, they're just gonna blame AI on it and then take shit away from us. And it's exactly what you can see. You can see that that's what they're doing. And what made it really transparent, like I said up front, is Elon with the car you can't buy. And then Jeff Bezos comes out and reaffirms something some other guy said about video games, where it's like, you don't need to own consoles, and you won't because you can't afford them anymore because we're making RAM prices go up. And it sucks. I'm sorry. Pray. I believe that prayer has a strong effect. You know, if enough people praying for the same thing, it can help. I suggest that we do it. You know, you can get on, you know, like group prayer calls. You can start them if you know how to do that. If you can get people to join. We're limited in prayer only by the limits of our own creativity, and I dare say the more we pray, the more creative we can get with our prayers. And I think that there might be something about this that God likes, because he knows that we're really giving it an effort. We're really, you know, we're going to him and saying, look, I want to pray for the world. It's one thing to pray for our selfish selves. Go ahead, do that. But also praying for the whole world, like praying against, like pray for the disbanding of the Bilderberg Group. Pray for the failure of the plans that were announced on the World Economic Forum, that you will live in a pod, eat the bugs, own nothing, and love it. Pray that this plan never sees fruition. Pray that whatever Agenda 2030 or Vision 2030 agenda checkpoints they feel as though they have achieved, pray that they all be undone, each and every single one. Pray that cracks and tears are put in their plans, that the evildoers are exposed, shamed, and humiliated, that they be turned back, that they be sent away, and that they be unable to lash out, strike back, or retaliate because their plans have failed. You can pray to God that they be cut off so that their sacrifices don't work anymore. Pray that they be cut off from their sacrifices so that when they try to attempt to prepare for their sacrifices, it burns them and the unclean spirits and forces of darkness. They're doing these rituals to get stuff from, to get earthly things from. And I think we should be thinking more about these types of prayers in addition to, praying for peace and praying that the spirit of Cyrus would be removed from Trump or whatever. Yeah, you should do these things probably. Don't underestimate the value of prayer, because you should start praying. And a lot of times it's the last refuge. It's like, there's nothing I can do. What can I'm nobody. I'm nowhere. I'm not even on the map, no matter what shape the earth is. What can I do? You can pray. So please pray. It's the most advanced technology on the planet that's ever going to be made available to us. It's a direct line to the creator and maker of all things. So I said it before, I'm saying it again. Start praying to God, and his name is Jesus Christ. Amen.